Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be the part 2 of composite function. So if you guys haven't watched the part 1 video of this subtopic, then I would suggest you guys to go and watch that video first. So without wasting time, let's get into this video. Okay, so now let's quickly recap on how to find a composite function when two single functions are given. So in this case, as you guys can see, there are two single functions given here, right? And now we are required to find the composite function of gf. Okay, so we are going to do it very quickly. Okay, so what would be the first step? The first step is always splitting. Okay, split both of the function by putting a bracket in between them. And the second step is you're going to substitute the fx. Is the function of f given? Yes, the function of f is this, right? This is function of fx. So what is it? You are going to substitute it with 3x plus 1. Where does the 3x plus 1 comes from? From the function of f. Next step would be this. So this one I've already explained earlier in the previous video, but this is the concept that you guys have to understand. Anything inside the bracket actually representing g, and outside you're just going to follow this. Okay, so now where is the gx function? So the gx function you guys can find over here. This is the gx, right? So the gx is here. What is the function of gx? The function of gx is x minus 1. Okay, hope you guys can see that. So now I'm just going to substitute the value, which is x minus 1. I mean the equation, okay. But is this correct? No. Why? Because now we don't want to find the gx anymore. Gx is already given in the question. So for what we are going to find the gx, right? So we want to find the g3x plus 1. So what can you see here? The x, initially the x from here, it become 3x plus 1, right? So since the x become 3x plus 1, we are just going to erase this x and then substitute or replace it with 3x plus 1. Positive one and also negative one, you can press the calculator, you will get 0, right? So the final answer would be 3x. So this is the final answer of gf function. This is how to find the composite function. First step, you have to split. Once you split them, what you have to do, you are going to substitute the f function with its equation, which is 3x plus 1. It's given in the question up there. And then anything inside the bracket is just representing your x. So originally this thing, it comes from gx. So what you're gonna do is you're just going to write the equation of gx, but you have to substitute. You have to replace the x with 3x plus 1, and you will get 3x as the final answer. Okay, so now this is what I've taught you in the previous video. Okay, now let's get into the content of today's video, which is, okay, you already understand this one, right? When two single functions are given, how to find the composite function. Now, what if the composite function is given to you and then you are required to find the single function? Okay, so this is the question now. Now the fx is not given. Before this, the fx was given, right? But now the fx is not given, but the gx is given. X minus 1. Okay, the gx is x minus 1. And the gfx is given 3x. So I hope you guys can see the difference between this question and also this question. So basically here, the f and g, the single functions are given, and then we are required to find the composite function. But in this case, in the second case, what you are going to do is, okay, so what you are going to do is, you are going to find the single function. Okay, the composite function is given here, and then you are going to find the single function of f. How? Okay, here the technique I'm going to teach you guys today is called IO technique. So what is IO technique? IO technique means inside and outside technique. Okay, so let me just write the technique's name over here. IO technique. Okay, IO technique. I stands for inside, O stands for outside. Okay, so inside outside technique. So as you guys can see here, you guys are required to find fx. So you have to see, because we are using the IO technique, right? Inside outside technique. So when you are required to find the fx, you must see whether the fx is located inside or outside. How to identify whether it's located inside or outside? You are going to look into the composite function given. So if you look into the composite function given here, the G is located outside and the F is actually located inside. Right. So it's just like that lah. I assume the G is located outside and F is located inside. So as for this question, we are required to find fx. So F is located inside or outside? It is located inside. Cannot say it's located outside because come on, the G is located outside, not the F. So fx is located inside. So I think you guys are clear with that. Now let me just continue. Once you guys identify whether it's inside or outside, then only you can further continue. You know why? Because there are two type of question lah. Today I'm going to teach. One is involving the inside one, and another one is outside. Inside is actually considered easy. I would give it a 1 star like that. Outside is a little bit harder. It's still doable, but it's harder lah compared to the inside one. Okay, so maybe I'll give it a 4 star like that. So let's do the inside question first. Okay, so the first step would be gfx, right? You always identify whether it's inside or outside. In this case, it's inside. Okay, so once you identify that, always start writing your composite function given there. In this case, gfx is given, right? So let me just write the gfx first, and then again, what would be the first step? Like here, what was the first step? To split them, to separate them, right? So here also I'm going to do the same thing. G, fx, I'm going to separate them. Once I separate them, the next step would be, you see lah, the function, the equation of the function is given or not. Like in this case, gfx, the equation of gfx is given or not in the question. It is given, right? Okay, it is given, right? This is gfx, this is gfx. So what is the equation of the gfx? It is 3x. So it's given there. So you're just going to substitute the gfx with 3x. Why? Because it is given there. And here, g, just write it back and see whether the equation of fx is given or not. Is it given? No, it's not given. Why it's not given? Because that's what we want to find, right? So it's obviously not given because that's what we want to find. So when it is not given, going back to the same concept I teach here, this concept. Anything inside the bracket must be a x. Anything inside the bracket must be a x. Outside, you just follow this one lah. Okay, so is gx given in this question? Yes, the gx is given in this question, which is this lah. So you're just going to write the gx equation over here. What is the equation of gx? This is the equation of gx, x minus 1, right? So I'm just going to write it here. But is this correct? No, it's wrong. Why? Because now we don't want to find the gx, we want to find the gfx. I mean, like, it's not that we want to find the gfx, but what we have over here is gfx, right? So what you're required to do is, you're going to erase this and then replace it with fx. Don't get confused, like here you're doing exactly the same thing again and again. So like here, it comes from gx, right? So we just write the gx equation here, x minus 1. But what we did, we just replaced the x with 3x plus 1, right? So basically we are doing exactly the same thing over here as well. Okay, so this thing also, it comes from gx, so you just write the gx first, which is x minus 1, but now the x become fx already, so you are not supposed to write x minus 1 lah. You are supposed to replace the x with fx. Alright, so once you are done with this, all you're going to do is anything other than fx, you are going to move it over. So as you can see here, there is a negative 1 here, right? So you are just going to move it over. So when you move it over, minus 1 will become a plus 1. Okay, so let me rewrite it properly. So you will get fx is equals to 3x plus 1. So did we manage to find the fx? Yes. So the final answer of fx would be 3x plus 1. Okay, so if you notice lah, this is a different one. Okay, so if you notice this one and this one, I'm actually giving you the same example, the same equation. But the only thing is here fx and also gx are given, gfx have to find, right? But here fx we must find, gx and also gfx is given. So if you guys can see, the equation of the gx is the same. The equation of the gfx here is also same with this, right? So it means that the fx is supposed to get over here, the final answer must be same with this, right? And as you can see, is it the same? Yes, it is the same. Okay, so this is the inside technique. I believe that you guys understand this very well, because this is actually easy one only. This one I've explained in previous video, but here I just did a quick recap. So this one, how to find a single function when a composite function is given. Now let's say I'm going to use the same equation of f, same equation of g, same equation of gf in the next example. But now I'm going to change the question a little bit lah. So now the question is like this. fx is given, gx is not given, so that's what you're going to find. You're going to find gx. By the composite function, gfx is given there. Okay, which is same as the one I used in previous examples, which is 3x. Okay, so just now, okay, so the very first step is to identify whether it's inside or outside, because why we are using the inside outside technique. So the first thing first, you have to identify whether the function that you are required to find, which is gx, is located inside or outside. So as you can see here, it is located outside. Okay, because the fx is located inside, right? So the gx is located outside. So this question involves outside. Okay, again I'm emphasizing on it. The first step, identify whether it's located inside or outside. So the gx, the one that we are supposed to find, is actually located outside, meaning that this is a little bit harder compared to the one that involves the inside technique. Okay, this one you must use the outside technique. So why I'm telling this is a bit harder is because it involves your knowledge from the inverse function subtopic, which is supposed to be in 1.3. That one I haven't uploaded the video yet, but I'll try to upload it as soon as possible. Now, again, once you have identified whether it's located inside or outside, you must start doing it from the composite function. Okay, the composite function given here is gfx, right? So you're just going to rewrite the composite function given there, and then what you're going to do is you're going to split them. Okay, you're going to separate them. Okay, you're going to separate them. Once you have separated them, next you're going to substitute the equation of the function that is given in the question. So in this case, for example, g f x. Is the equation of g f x function is given in the question? Yes, it is 3x. Okay, it is given, it is 3x, right? So you can substitute lah this g f x with 3x. Okay, once you're done with this, now see whether the function of fx is given or not in the question. If it is given, then you can substitute the equation lah. So in this question, fx, this is also fx. Is the function of fx given? Yes, 3x plus 1, right? So you are going to substitute the fx with its equation. Okay, 3x plus 1. Once you're done with that, okay, this is where most of the students will stuck, because what they will do is they will bring the 3x plus 1 over, make it a divide. 3x divide by 3x plus 1. Most of the students will do like this, but it is wrong. Why? You cannot bring it over, you cannot move it over, because this is not a times relation, it is a function. Okay, it is not a times or divide relation, so you cannot move it over, it's a function. So what you're gonna do, this is where you get stuck. So this is where we will be using the inverse function method. Okay, so this one, 3x, just rewrite, copy back. The one inside the bracket, you are going to replace it with y. Means you're just letting this 3x plus 1 as y. Okay, you never change anything, you're just letting the 3x plus 1 as y. Okay, once you do like that, the next step, I advise you to do the next step aside. Even in your exam also, you do it aside. So what you're going to do is, you're going to use the inverse technique, right? So how to do? Y 3x plus 1. So from where did I create this? No. Everything I did here, I'm just writing it aside. Okay, I just let the 3x plus 1 as y, right? So now I'm just writing it here lah. Y is equals to 3x plus 1. So once you're done with that, you continue by making the x as the subject. How to make the x as the subject? Bring the 3 and also y this side, so that you can make the x as the subject, right? So I'm not going to show it in detail, because I believe that your algebraic is good enough. So this is what you will get. Okay, x is equals to y minus 3. So I suggest you guys to do this step aside lah, even in your exam. Okay, once you're done with that, and then what you guys have to do is, okay, this one you just rewrite it back. Okay, this one you just rewrite it back, the gy. Okay, over here, 3. So just now the 3x plus 1, I let it as y, right? So now the x also let it as y lah. So it will become like this. Is this correct? No. This is what most of the students, even when I was a student, right, I used to do this mistake a lot, so many times. But this is not how to do. Why? Because I'm not changing this x into y, meaning that I'm not changing it like this. I've changed the entire 3x plus 1 into y, right? So that's why you cannot straight away from x make it into y. No, you cannot do like that. You have to substitute the value of x. So from where to get the value of x? From here. We have found the value of x, what? So you just substitute, simply do like that. No need to do any other stuff. Okay, just do like that. The x value you're just going to substitute with y minus 1 over 3. So once you're done with this, the rest is mathematics, where you can cancel this thing, right? So y minus 1 gy. So now you got your gy, but are we supposed to find gy? No, we want to find the gx, right? So here you can just simply change the gy as gx. So when you want to change the gy into gx, the y minus 1 also must change into x minus 1. Okay, so as you guys can see here, I was using the same example for this one, for this one, for this one. The same example means like I'm using the same equation of the function only. Fx, I'm using 3x plus 1 gx, I'm using x minus 1 gfx, I'm using 3x. So when I'm using the same equation here, fx I'm using the same equation, gfx I'm using the same equation, and I was required to find gx, right? So gx we supposed to get back this lah, x minus 1. Gx we supposed to get back this, x minus 1. And did we get it back? Did we get the x minus 1 as the final answer? Yes, as you guys can see there, we got the x minus 1. So you guys can definitely use this method in exam. So here I'm just trying to give you 3 different situations of example. The first one, f function is given, g function is given, we want to find the composite function. So blah blah blah, all the thing we did. Okay, now the second one, f function is not given, but g function and also the composite function, which is gf function, is given. So how to find? Use the inside outside technique, IO technique. Determine whether it's located inside or outside. Determine whether the function that you're supposed to find, which is fx, is located inside or outside. If it's inside, then it's easier for you. If it's outside, then you have to use this method where you have to find the inverse, you have to use the inverse function method. Okay, so this is how to do lah. Not really sure whether you guys understand or not. I've prepared 2 questions here. Okay, so this is the question where we are supposed to use IO technique lah. By the way, this technique I created it by myself. You cannot find this technique in your textbook lah. So don't go and ask your class teacher, like your maths teacher, can you explain me about the IO technique? Please don't do that. This one I created by myself. Okay, so IO technique. Okay, so first thing first, you look into the question. Fx is given, single function is given. Okay, fine. Fgx, what is fgx? It is a composite function. So composite function is also given there. So now you are required to find gx, which is a single function. Composite function is given and then you are required to find the gx. So first thing you have to identify lah whether the gx is located inside or outside. So obviously the g is located inside. Why? Because the f is located outside. So when the g is located inside, do you have to use the inverse method? No, you don't have to use the inverse. Okay, this one is the easier part. Okay, you're going to use the IO technique. This IO technique. Yes, you're going to use the IO technique, but to be more specific, it is involving the inside question. So the first step, always start from your composite function, separate them. So when you want to separate them, just put a bracket in between the f and also g function. And then the next step, substitute the functions given in the question. So like, is fgx given here? Yes, fgx is given. What is the function of fgx? 5x plus 8. So just write it back here. By the way, sorry for my horrible handwriting. I'm trying to improve my handwriting. Okay. Alright, okay. And then the next one, f gx. So what is the equation of gx? It is not given because that is what you're going to find. So when it is not given, what you're supposed to do is applying the same concept. Anything inside the bracket actually representing x. Outside it, you just follow back this. So this entire thing, it is actually comes from fx. So just write your fx function over here lah. You'll get 3x minus 6. From where did I get it? The fx. So the fx given is 3x minus 6. So that's why I write it back here. 3x minus 6. Okay, now but is this correct? No. Why? Because the x, you're supposed to replace it with gx, right? Okay, now can you see the gx here? Yes, so the rest is you're just going to move anything other than gx to the left hand side so that you can get the equation of gx. So gx is 5x plus 8 plus 6 over 3. So what you will get as the final answer? You will get 5x plus 14 over 3. So this would be your final answer. Okay, understand, right? Alright. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. Okay, which is also using the IO technique, but this time it is more to the outside one. Just now we do for the inside one, right? The inside one, right? Okay, now we are going to do for the outside one. Okay, outside one is a bit harder. Why? Because you have to use the inverse method. And how do I know that this question involves the outside technique? Because gx is given. A composite function of fgx is also given. And you're required to find fgx, which is a single function, right? And you, how to identify whether it is outside or inside? Okay, so look into the composite function and see whether your fx is located inside or outside. So in this case, the fx is located outside. Why? Because the gx is located inside. But you are required to find fx, right? So just see whether the fx is located inside or outside. It's located outside. So when it's located outside, so you have to use the outside technique where you will be using inverse method. And how to use the inverse method? Okay, but before that, the first thing, you have to always start from the composite function given in the question. You cannot always start from fgx. If the composite function given to you is gfx, then start from gfx. But since in this case, the composite function given is fgx, so that's why I'm writing fgx lah. Don't simply memorize. You have to understand the concept. Don't ever memorize at maths. You cannot survive if you memorize at maths. Okay, so the next step you have to see okay, fgx. Is fgx given in the question? Yes. What is it? 7x minus 4. Okay, next. So you want to substitute the gx. So gx, 2x plus 3, right? Okay, so 2x plus 3. Okay, so here, don't get stuck here. You cannot expand this. You cannot expand this because this is not a times relation. Again, it's a function, so you cannot expand it, and also you cannot move this over because again it's a function, not a times relation. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to let the one that is inside the bracket as y. Okay, so meaning that in this case you are going to let the 2x plus 3 as y. So when you let the 2x plus 3, the next step you better do it aside, like at the corner over here maybe. Okay, so y is equals to 2x plus 3. This is what you did, right? You just let the entire thing as y, so I'm just writing it back over here, but as an equation. So from here, what you're going to do, you must find the x. You must make the x as a subject. So you will get y minus 3 over 2. Why? Because the plus 3, move it over, it will become minus 3. 2 and x, the relation is times relation. So when it is a times relation, when you want to move these 2 over, it will become a divide 2. It will become a divide lah. So this is what you get, right? Okay, so the next step, come back to this. Okay, where you are just going to write this thing back. Okay, but what is the one change that you have to make is that the f is now, sorry, the function is in terms of y. Okay, it is not a fx anymore, but it is a fy. So here you also have to make it as a y. How? Can you straight away erase this x and then put y? Cannot, cannot. You cannot do like that. So what you have to do is, as you can see here, the x we find the x value over here, right, which is y minus 3 over 2. So you're just going to substitute this x with y minus 3 over 2. So that's what we are going to do lah. Y minus 3 over 2. Okay, and you're going to solve this. Okay, so this is the thing. I'm going to zoom it. Okay, so now how to solve this? Don't leave like this, huh? You must simplify it. As long as you can simplify, you must simplify it. Okay, you must simplify. So how to simplify? Alright, so first this one you can expand, right? So when you expand this, you will get 7 times y, 7y. 7 times negative 3, you will get 21. Okay, and then over 2 minus 4. Maybe you can ask me why 7 and 2 multiply and why this will not become a 14. Maybe you can ask me like that, but it's wrong lah. Cannot do like that. Whenever it involves a non-fraction, for example like 8, and then inside got a fraction, for example like 1 over 7, when you want to expand it, you must only expand the numbers on the top. So it will become 8 over 7. Okay, the bottom one you just rewrite it back. Okay, so equals to Fy. Okay, this one also you must simplify. You cannot leave like that. How to simplify a fraction and also a non-fraction? So this one, you better to go back to your primary concept lah, primary school concept, where whenever we have a fraction, like for example 5 over 8 plus 7, how do we solve this when we were in primary school? Because back then we don't have calculator, right, in primary school. So we have to do this manually by making the denominator same. So how to do? So nothing at the bottom, it means there is a over 1. So how to make the denominator same? This one times 8. So when the bottom one you times 8, the top one also must times 8. So that you will get 5. Sorry. Now your denominator will become the same, right, which is 8. Penyebut, if I'm not mistaken, denominator in Malay, penyebut. The one on bottom is what we call as denominator. Huh? Okay, so now the denominator become the same already. Okay, it's 8. So the top one, the numerator, 5 plus this one, 7 times 8 is what? 7 times 8 is 56. So when you solve this, you will get 61 over 8. So this is what we did when we were in primary school, right? So now do exactly the same thing. Like exactly apply this concept to solve this complicated one. So the first thing, nothing on the top, nothing at the bottom, it means there is a 1. So how to make the denominator same? You're going to times this 1 by 2. When the bottom one you times the top one also you must times. So now that the denominator becomes same already, which is 2. Now the top one you just rewrite lah, 7y minus 21 minus this one, 4 times 2, 8. And then equals to Fy. Okay, so now here when you solve this, you will get 7y minus 29 over 2 is equals to Fy. Okay, but again, what was the question? We must find what? We must find the Fx, right? So by then we got the Fy. So what you're going to do is change the y into x. So Fx is equals to, so when you change this y into x, this y also you must change into x. So it will become 7x minus 29 over 2. So that's it. Okay, maybe if you want to take a screenshot, I'll make it smaller like this. Okay. So yeah. So what we have learned in this video, when a composite function is given, how to find a single function, use a IO technique, inside outside technique. If it is involving your inside one, then it is easier. If it involves outside, then you have to use inverse method. Okay, about the inverse function method, I will be teaching it in the next video because it is under 1.3. Okay, so I think that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end, I hope. And if you find this video is helpful, please do subscribe to my channel and share it to your friends. Bye bye.